Be alive today, getting the cells together, um, feeling, trying to make the most of everything. So, um, see what we working on. See how y'all out there today coming on to see if anybody come. But what's up? What's up? Told you I was coming back today. I got to get this question out. Give me just a minute to get this one up. Said I was gonna come back today. There we go. Give me just 1 second to get this question up. All right. You'll like this question I got today. I think that was an Adam Silver move, if you ask me. Um, they need some fights. That was a dumb fight. Nurkic is always trying to do something because he's soft. He don't do nothing. He's a Nerf head. That turkey don't do nothing. I don't really understand how Nerf still keeps a job. I mean, he gives you one decent game out the week, so he's just abiding. I like the fact they show some fight because they do have a label being soft, but Phoenix ain't trying to fight back. Phoenix ain't got no raw dogs. Yeah, of course it was intentional because he got beat on the play like he always gets beat on plays. That's not the first rodeo for Nurkic. He's always doing stuff like that. But these things come and go. They don't carry over, you know. Anyway, I hope you like the poll question because your boy Vinny Ramsey, I had fun with it. Cats don't get screens no more. That's why. They not used to it. I will tell you a story. I played pickup game. This was about 20 years ago. Played against this dude. He didn't really score. Didn't really he just but he gave you some hard screens. He was the hardest player I had to go against on the pickup because his screens, you're not used to someone setting a screen, so he would hit you and then he would hit you up. And so that made it more not used to it when someone hits you with them screens. They just using as a body as a decoy, but he always know when to put his back out at you. And so what you do with him is that you get him ISO. Oh well, they don't have to do that today because those guys are not part of the NBA. That was done on purpose. Adam Silver made sure the guys like that. That's why the game is fixed and manipulated as it is. Guys like that, because I mean, bottom line is you can find a 6 pack or rough physical brother. You can get plenty of them. They don't want them in the NBA no more. That's all that is. Guys who would probably average like 3 or 4 points, but give you about 10 boards, but give you a headache. It was a different era. Different era. So totality is completely different. So you know. There was room for everybody. It's just that Adam Silver doesn't want it in his NBA. That's all that comes down to. Care what nobody tells you. There was Davis boys still around Mahorn. They just don't want them around. That's all. You know, they've done that on purpose. So that's what's up. Because guys like Anthony Davis couldn't do nothing with that. Imagine that on his back every night. He'd be fragile. Glad to see a lot of people coming through. Feel free to come on in. Tell me where you're from. Comment. The question today is America mediocre and lazy? It was debated by Vivek Ramasay, and Elon Musk. So it could be considered the mega crowd. Tell me what you think. We're gonna take the poll. We got a good question here. Let's see. All right. Yeah, he is. Yeah, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Pat Riley, he still got old school philosophy. Yeah, Elon Musk is from South Africa. Ramsey family. Well, his family is not Ramsey, though. His family is not him. Pat Riley, it's just that he's stuck in his ways, but I don't have no problem with what he's saying about Jimmy Butler at all. I have no problems. Not at all. I think too often than not, you can't dictate. Pat Riley come from the school. If you ain't winning a championship, you put a banner up there. Okay, I'll send you when you want to go tomorrow. You ain't give me no banner. You just another voice. Runner up can mean something in other sports. That's like a participating, but Pat Riley's about chips. And he did. He quit. He has. Because Jimmy Butler can't figure it out. And when you want that kind of money, you got to understand what you're willing to put up. If you're not that dude, then don't sign that deal. They quit on him. But he's gotten a raw deal before. How you doing, Jay Will? Good to see you. Appreciate you. Good to see you. They always treat him like doo-doo brown, though. It cracks me up. He get Cleveland, the Lakers, and now Sacramento. But I didn't like the fact they brought DeRozan in. I thought that was just not a good look. I didn't understand that at all. They don't need more firepower. They need some defenders. So I didn't like that move at all. They can be a double threat, with the way they run their guard play, but they just don't defend worth nothing. Yeah, he is. I already did the video about it, and I laughed. Look, I like Reggie Miller, but Reggie Miller was never a Steph Curry. Not that dude. And I like Reggie. I still take Cheryl over him though. I don't care what nobody says. All right, now we got people in here. Feel free to come through. Tell me what's up. Jamarcus, because at least Leaf actually played a little bit. He wasn't that good, but he actually made himself. Jamarcus didn't even make his way past the counter. He has Zion Williamson, an NFL quarterback. Okay, that's a good point, TT. Because America is an open land for everybody. It wasn't just created this delusional. So yeah, I mean Jamarcus was the bigger bust, but Leaf was overrated though. They both stole money. So it depends on how you look at it. Yeah. Hope everybody's doing good today. Glad to see a big array of people on here today. Thank you for coming. Shit we talking about today? Yeah, I just wanted to address that last night. That fight was comical. But Nurkic gets on my nerves though. I mean, he tried too much. But he's a plant by the NBA, so all right. Feel free to cast the questions. Let's see what we got. We got quite a few people in. So feel free to chime in. Let me know what's on your mind today. He is. He been pulling them mess for 20 years too. I don't know if I would have gotten rid of D8 for him. I don't understand that move. Now, at least with D8 actually throw some points up there. Nurkic, he didn't do nothing with Dame. He's got other business back there. That's what's up. He's a businessman. It's deeper than you think, so it'll turn out. You knew it was going to erupt. You knew this was going to happen. Just a matter of time. So yeah, but Nurkic is fake though. Of course she would. You think she gonna come up there and say that that's what ESPN pays her to say? You can't ever tell the truth. But I'm gonna tell you something. She never gonna sit there and talk about Robert Sarver. They didn't even waste half of time talking about that. Or Donald Sterling. Or Josh Giddey. But Kyrie Irving got treated like he did the worst thing his moms could have presented. So I don't want to hear nothing about that fakery. No one did it better than Rodman in the last 30, 40 years. Nobody. KG wasn't Rodman. He was a better athlete and a better player, but he couldn't get under your skin like Rodman. Joy speaks up. She speaks up. She paid her dues. She paid her dues. You know, one of the worst things is that because people think you're attractive, that's the only reason why you got where you are. And Joy does hang out with the brothers on shows. That's saying something. See, the difference between her and Malika Andrews, he and clack clacks, but you don't get no soul from her. At least with Joy, you kind of, it's not foreign to her to be in a certain setting. That's what's up. Jason know who he can go after and who he can't, though. He probably think they all bought and paid for, which a lot of them are because they are come up as dolls. I mean, they are presented as a certain way. I mean, believe me, you ain't gonna be on this show with rollers in your hair talking about, yeah, and they scored a touchdown. Mm-mm. Ain't nobody gonna look like Aunt Esther gonna get on there. But he gets to say stuff like that because here's how some people think. That's what how it is when it's institutionalized, systematic. He's outside the top 10 because his team's not winning. But if his team starts to win, I can move him up. They have to do better. I like looking at her. I didn't really care for her skill set. I thought she was pretty generic. Most of them that they bring on are pretty generic. Victor got a chance to move up though. He's top 15. He can move up if the Spurs can win some games. He's got to dominate though. You got to win. That's what it's about there. Stats is cute and nice, but you got to win. Get some W's. He got too much of a skill set and an upside not to impose his will. That's how I look at him. That's why I gave him a. I said so 3 or 4 years before his third, fourth year is when you're gonna really see it. Yeah, but the team is not where they need to be. You can throw all the stats you want. You gotta be somewhere in the third, fourth, fifth slot to impress me. Stats is nice, but you gotta win. It's all about W's, especially if you are the next thing in San Antonio. You know the rules. If you know anything about the Spurs, it's about the dubs. Stat padding is not something that you just get excited about because you gotta bring the dubs. Oh yeah, well, Aaron Andrews was like that because she had that stalker and she was a blonde hair. I still remember when She was scared out her blonde when Richard Sherman said about Crabtree, "She's mediocre," and she was terrified. She looking like Aniston, Jennifer Aniston. She does. It's the hair, and she did have that stalker in Chicago, which was crazy. But yeah, when he said mediocre, she looked at Richard Sherman and she was like, "Oh my god." It was crazy. I still remember that sideline episode. Not to me, not enough. Not enough. I mean, if I use Rookie of the Year or he had a moment, but the totality of his career, he went to too many teams and I lost track of him. Of course he do. 50 likes it. Now he's one of those guys that had a window. Had the Suns did something when Nash was MVP and they had won, then you're gonna make a case for him. He's one of those guys that's in that really good to almost very good tier. Yeah, she was. 50 be checking at her, but no, no, she's not for the culture. I think we already know that. You know, she ain't with that. She ain't with it. You know, when you see Aaron Andrews, you know how it is. Besides, if she mess with a brother, he'd be kind of bougie anyway. Well, 50 is kind of bougie, but probably. But it would be a cat that you wouldn't associate it with. Cat had to have some sophistication, be low key, and nobody that you would assume. So if you were at a poolside party and he's drinking a club soda or ginger ale or water or something, and you wouldn't assume, that'd be the one. That would be the one. Oh yeah, she'll cry and yell. You know, she's like that chick that was on Grey's Anatomy who married a brother but still pulled a Karen move. I can't think of her name right now, so it don't mean nothing. Just like Jennifer Aniston. I mean, you already know. We could talk about that all day if you wanted to. They pretty self-explanatory. You know, because he's sold out. He wants to identify as an American, and that's what he's trying to do. He ain't no ambassador. But the thing about him is, he's in a situation where they allow that. You know, he's very whitewashed. You know, but that's done on purpose, though. You can tell they ain't taking over nothing. I wish you'd stop with that nonsense. Nobody in here. If y'all think the Sixers are going to do something, give me a one. If you think the Sixers are going to be fourth and below, give me a two. Ain't nobody feeling those Sixers. I like Maxi, and I think they should run it through Maxi. But when Paul George gets hurt, did you not see the Celtics? You not see the Knicks? You not see the Cavaliers? Who you gonna jump over? Yeah. Oh, they do because again, it's and you know what it is? It's the texture of that hair. It's that hair when they got get in that kitchen. So I can't handle this. Yep, that's the one that always mess it up. Jay, Will, you cool and all that, but that Sixers, man, you gotta chill with that noise. That's like talking about them Cowboys. You gotta chill with that noise. I like Maxi a lot. I think he deserves better. But Embiid is too half-hearted. Paul George is, the tires are gonna go tread. And they don't play no they're not going to beat a top tier team. Yeah, they'll catch a team here and there, but they're not that good. Maybe if you go on a nice long winning streak, I might see something. But I'm just waiting for Joel Embiid to fall down like that afro gonna drag him down, and he'll roll over in the corner. But yeah, he's known for shuffleboarding. Mhm. You know, he came up in an era where he can shuffleboard. No one's gonna call him out because, you know, that's the era we're in. Especially when you're coming over, you know. So, all right, we got more views in here, so keep on coming. Feel free to comment, hit the like, hit the subscribe, whatever you want to do. Come on through. Let's get it. I welcome it. Ain't no lot of ones. You're the only one that's putting a lot of ones up there. No one believes on those Sixers. Even people in Philadelphia wouldn't put up no ones. The talent you got is top three. The reality you got is bottom, is 4 through 7. You're not better than Milwaukee. You're not better than Milwaukee. And I already mentioned 3 other teams, and I don't think Orlando could get you too. So I'm not sold on you. I'm not sold on you. You know, I you got on paper and you got a coach I like, but y'all soft. And we know it's a matter of time some get fragile. Is he a good man? I don't know what he is. I know he's Hollywood. I mean, he tried to do the right thing for the most part. I ain't really had no issue with Jamie, but he's in the industry and it's crazy. Yeah, but what about their total record though? That's a nice little sample you gave me, but they still not a team that people are scared of. Well, KG need to be drug tested. That's what I say about that. No, Jerry Jones is showing you when they say property of the Dallas Cowboys, that's what that means. They don't have no respect for you. So yes, he looks at you as property. They do that. Now he look at it like a meat market. You ever gone to a club, go to a club, and you scouring out the scene at a meat market? That's what he looked at it like. Fresh cut, prime beef. I'm not trying to hear nothing that KG gotta say because they were not beating no Shaq and Kobe. Yeah, Cowboys already look bad. No, he's Toby. He's not Kunta. He's Toby. He bought and paid for. The problem with the Cowboys is that they got so many wrongs. It's not even funny. And they faded from view after week 6. We stopped talking about I stopped really. That was dead weight. So I humor people who are Cowboy fans, but your season been over for like since week 7 or 8. I mean, who are we kidding? It's sad it goes 17, 18 weeks because your season was over in week 8. If you're a Cowboys fan, you already knew the white towel had been waved by week 8. That's the sad reality. And you're just playing out the script. Cooper Rush gonna get some token wins, and they're gonna actually say, "Well, could he do something?" No, he can't. You know, I, you know, they just are mediocre, and they got a coach who's doing whatever. He ain't the only one. He's the only one you hear about. He ain't the only one. I'm sure Arthur Blank does too for the Atlanta Falcons. He's always on the sideline. They all do it. You think they don't? I got some real estate for you in your backyard. And I don't even know where you live. Come on now. It's property of. Whenever you read the shirts and it says property of, that's how they look at you as property. They are aware. Jerry Jones is only saying what the Good Old Boys Club does. It's just that hearing it from his mouth is probably the thing that's got people shook up. It's known. They know because they tell you what to eat. Dwayne Wade and Cap told you it was a plantation when they train you, when they have the draft. Pat Riley, I don't know Pat Riley be, grade A, but he watches your calories. They all watch. Guys come in now, they have to be fit, they have to be a certain size and all that. But this was a whole little bit different though. But I'm not shocked or surprised though. It's not surprising. And there are more that do it. You just don't know about it. That's all. He's the only one that got caught doing it. And no one's gonna even bat an eye about it. Even though that is a violation. Because that's really no different than what Daniel Snyder did with the Washington Commanders. He was watching the cheerleaders. So you tell me if you violating the players or violating personnel. Personnel violation is personnel violation. Did I say something that's not true? You tell me. But who's gonna sit there and sue Jerry Jones for violating when he's the owner? There you go. Come here live, we talk about it. That's all I gotta say about that. Yeah, he was very intense because the training camps were actually more severe than the actual games. You wanted guys to be fit. You wanted guys to be tight. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, you know. I think he burned all his bridges though with LA. That's why he got let go. He was pretty intense dude. Still is. They're not gonna talk about it because they're more into it than you think. Did Daniel Snyder checking out the cheerleaders get a big buzz? No, he got paid 2 and a point something billion, side door left, and you ain't heard no more about Daniel Snyder. He's now in the Jimmy Hoffa Witness Protection Program, out there floating somewhere. You know, y'all thinking that these industries are really gonna report the news. They're not gonna report nothing. They're only gonna do what they're told to do. They know who runs everything, you know. Bandits be everywhere. Mhm. He inspired well, you mentioned him yesterday, so I thought I'd come back with his quote, and I made the video, so thank you, Ted, because you got me inspired to do this one, and then I sat there and I watched Lisa Cabrera's interview, shout out to Lisa Cabrera. She was laughing through her video roast, and then I went and did my own detective work, and then I made the video, and they gonna butt heads, though. He ain't getting no wake-up call, cause he know how race it is, he just chooses to dance. Sometimes you know it's there, but you choose to dance. It's kinda like, well, I'll wet the bed. Maybe if I open up the window and I turn the mattress to the left, maybe it'll blow out. That's what that was about. That's all it was. Maybe if I turn the fan on, no one can smell. Maybe they got their nostrils are clogged. They won't know. That's what he hoping. He been know. He got called every name under the sun growing up. You already know. So, but is he gonna do anything about it? Nope. Is he gonna settle for the bag? Yep. Because he knows he's not a threat anyway. Because it was boys will be boys. That's why. And it happens way often more than you think in all walks of life. Jerry Sandowski is no different than a lot of places. It happened to, if I told you Todd Bridges from Different Strokes had it happen to him, Mike Tyson had it happen to him, Sugar Ray Leonard, I can go on. You just don't hear about it because, you know, it's known. I hate that he's canceled in terms of him as a coach because he shouldn't be canceled in terms of what he did as a coach. You can separate the two. Remember, when people bring you on, they paying for your character and for you to win. Those are two different things. They're not hand in hand. We can have plenty of nice guys who suck as a coach, like Franklin, who's the coach of Penn State, who always gets those two losses, like Ted knows. You know, he can get them two losses. He might be a nice guy, but look, you got to bring some. It's mixed. Unless Oregon loses, it's a mixed bag because they got 2 lost teams, 3 lost teams, 1 lost teams. It's a lot of parity, but what does it really mean? So, it's kinda like a mismatch. I've seen better years. That's a bit too much. I think you could get it down to 8. They trying to milk it for everything it's worth. Let's say NIL, What they want, though, is that they want Ohio State, Penn State, Ohio State, Georgia, or the usual suspects. They not fooling nobody. That's the only thing that would make Ryan Day be forgiven for choking against Michigan. That's the only thing. If he comes up short, that's why Kirk Herbstreit don't understand, don't want to tell the truth. All right, please continue to please hit the like, subscribe, and please take the poll question. And we're looking forward to it. There's got a lot of people out here today, so feel free. Yeah, you did. You're gonna beat Tennessee, so that don't even count. I want to see what happens against Oregon, and we'll see. But if you lose, you know, I hope Ohio State loses though, because I think the fix is on. I ain't got no problem if Georgia wins at all. I don't. I think they've been straight the last 4 years. Think they got robbed of a deeper run last year. So I ain't got no problem when I see the best teams. He done good. He had a couple of suspect games, but he done pretty good though. I'm not sold on Texas though as winning at all though. I think they could be had, but the kid's pretty good though. Stop having so many whack games on. And the problem that they run into is that you gotta actually get teams to play. You know, I keep the NBA at TNT. I love Shaq, Charles, Kenny, Ernie, and them to speak out on it. I think the issues is that people can't relate to what they're seeing. There is truth with foreign players. People got a problem with that. There's a problem with three pointers. There's a problem with mediocrity. There's a problem with low management. There's different problems. But you just gotta get quality teams. That's all. Um, Alabama had one of them. I can't mention the years because that's kind of going back, but Bama's had one of them. Georgia did. Miami, of course, yeah. The usual suspects. Hmm. That's funny you asked that question because I don't even think about defense in college football too much no more. Them days is gone. So I'm glad you mentioned it because there are some things that really go over the head right now. Maurice Claret played out his mind. People who of a certain age know there was a time he was bigger than LeBron James in the state of Ohio for a window. For a window. He sure did. I still remember that interference, how that flag came in late in the game. One of them, I wouldn't say that. I thought Sacramento 2002 had great ball movement. They just didn't get to the finals, but their ball movement was incredible. I thought Divac, Chris Webber, those guys rotated. He was. But he wanted to challenge the system and come out, and they said you too light in the cakes to play in the NFL. But he played out his mind in that game. The Suns with the quick rotation was nice, but Sacramento still moved me a little bit much though. The Spurs ball movement was crisp because they could pass the corners and hit the shots. That's what made it so good. You know, that was a different way of ball playing. And that seems like a lifetime ago now. When you talk about 10 years ago, I thought Golden State had great ball movement too, because you got to remember with Steph and Clay, he catch those balls on the dunk, make those shots. That's high IQ, which they don't ever give. They do. That's one of the problems I have when they don't give Curry his due. He has a high IQ. Excuse me. I want to say when they had Mo, um, back in '07. Yeah, I'll give you that. Joe could actually move that rock. You got Zugaskis. Yeah. I mean, you ain't got to worry about that today. Yeah, I remember Jay Will because Tim Duncan said when they beat OKC, we're going to go get the ring. And he never said anything like that before. So they took it personal. They took it personal. He tore the Miami Heat behind up. Yeah, if you know how to move the ball the right way, you know. But you got to know how to play your guards the right way. You got to know how to, neutralize the base. You know, teams don't do that no more. Oh yeah, because he was so close to being perfect in the finals. I'm sure he did. The way they lost too. Because if Ginobili or Kawhi hit one free throw, that's the end of the series right there. That's a tough way to lose too. But you see, I like the attitude. They came back the next year and took names. That's what teams used to do. Wax that butt the next year. We're mad. That's what's missing. That's what's missing. He ain't talk about it. He came out there and was about it. That's why he don't get his due. But he came to do business. He should still be in the GO conversation. I don't. He 5-1 in the finals. Why wouldn't he be in that? I mean, he got Finals MVPs, League MVPs. They were a dynasty. They were like what 15, 20 years always, you know, in the playoffs. I mean, he should be. If I wasn't a Heat fan, I would have kind of liked that. But no, he sit there and wear his freshly knitted clothes. He didn't get no run in that series either. He wasn't gonna get mentioned in the GO conversation. He could have been 6-0. They weren't gonna mention him. They hate Duncan. See, people like basketball. They don't love basketball. There's a difference. If they loved it, they would acknowledge dominance. They don't. And he never gets his due. It was. He sat there all freshly knitted. It was all fresh. He didn't even take his jersey off. I saw somebody on the bench riding that pine. Jersey was all fresh, had spurs all on it. I saw him. He's got 25 plus thousand points. James Harden just surpassed him. How was that a problem? He sure didn't. They took his clothes and they hung them right back up, fresh and fitted. He did have big offensive games. He had some triple doubles. He had some monster games. It's just that he was playing Eminem with no nut. That's all that was. He didn't give you nothing to feed on. He just tore your behind up and went on with his business. He did have numbers though. Remember he's considered the greatest power forward ever by a lot of people. So when you're considered great at something, that's respect. The other stuff is politics. That don't make no difference. He still was a double double man. He didn't have to average. He still would even win multiple league MVPs. See, I don't know when you started watching basketball, but he was a dominant fixture. Thank you. Cats up here acting like that ain't like that's like a. It was a different era. Different era. We actually had games back then that 91 to 85 was a final score. Not like today. He does, but is he better than Duncan? No. Tell him about it, Ted. Tell him. People act like all this scoring has always happened. They changed the rules to compartmentalize to manipulate the minds. This ain't been the norm. This ain't been the norm. There was a time you could have built a wall for Giannis. I mean, when James Harden said that all he is big and tall, he can't really score. That's all. They put him there because the Spurs weren't a sexy team. Okay. No Diddy, but that's the fact. No appeal. They were business as usual. Thank you, Ted. Thank you. You got to understand something. No nonsense, sweat, do your job, no fanfare. That's what that was. But if anybody else had his career, they would, you know. Believe me, if Iverson had Tim Duncan's numbers and he had his resume, think about it. He dominant. He was a bad dude. That sure is. I know where you're going with this, Ted, but Bronny's still not coming up. But I know where you're going on. That's nice though. The MVP title? What you mean? The thoughts on the MVP title? You talking about the way they give it a different name for best player or yeah, I picked that up, Ted. I know where you're going with that. He ain't coming up. Nice try though. Nice try. I saw him in the G League, the alley oop. Um, they changed the rules for the MVP. It's all politics. That's all. SGA will probably get it this year. If OKC's number one, they'll get it. They owe him one because they gave Joker one last year. So that's the problem you run into. They should have an Eastern and a Western conference. And they could actually have a draw if they wanted to. I want no problem with it. It is very subjective. Um, Steve Nash got it. What I want to do with it. Kevin Garnett had one in '04. I don't think he will because again, they make it political. Derrick Rose got it. So it's a subjective. It's a lot of politics involved. Joe Embiid got one. James Harden got one. You know, Russell Westbrook got one. Yeah, I mean, but Nash did play out his mind though. He could have been a co-MVP with Shaq, but he did play out his mind though. No one saw him looking like that. That's what was so surprising. Oh yeah, Randy Doodoo Brown had a lot of nerve. They won't cancel it because there are guys who play great in the regular season and guys that are others. It's they're gonna keep that going. Yeah, Randy Brown, he talked like a crackhead. I don't know what Randy Brown was looking at. I remember when Scottie Pippen didn't score, they didn't win, especially when Jordan wasn't there. So he's really a master of delusion. He got nice and bought and paid for. Like I said before, people spend a lot of time dissing Jordan. Well, if you play good offense, the pace that they play would wear you down. The problem with what Dan Tony implemented is they went 7-man rotation and you be spent. You're getting the ball out the rim and you're hurrying up. The only problem is if they go against some bigs who can wax on that butt, back them down, keep up with them, and get physical, then they ain't got nothing to do. Then they get in foul trouble, and they weren't meant. They didn't have no cake. They did not have the hind parts to mess with the Spurs. They were lighting the cakes. That's the problem, and the defense looks even worse. That's the problem they ran into. They could run with anybody, but if they came out today, they'd probably win. Oh, those 3, I'm taking the Bulls, Pacers, but the Lakers, Jazz was close. I think the Pacers had that's why Jerry Krause didn't look so bad by breaking the team up. It took every ounce to get that one. The Lakers beat the Jazz, and the Lakers got back to the finals the next year. Dallas was on a mission. OKC was firepower. Oh, well, if you're going by those 3, you know, it depends on what your criteria is. I think that was pretty intense. I thought those Sixers Celtic ones in the '80s were the 3-1 was probably the toughest. When the Celtics came back from 3-1, that was tough. The Lakers Sacramento one probably got more romanticism than that '88 one, if you're gonna be honest. That's the one that most people will go to. Pistons and the Bulls in '90, 7-game series, that's pretty intense. All depends on which way you're looking. They were down 2-0, but when Charles Smith missed that, didn't put that dunk, didn't put that ball back, that was in that series. Should have been a 7-game series. So, no, not that one, because the Lakers were lost one loss that whole playoffs. They ran through the Kings. They tore their behind up, if you remember. They tore their butt up. That was the last year of white chocolate there, if you remember. They tore their behind up. That's why they went and got Bibby. I would say that except for one thing. Shaq should have been averaging like 20, 30 free throws in that series. And they did a lot of acting. So it kind of even out. You know, there was a lot of acting. I still say in game 5, because Webber lost that ball. Bobby Jackson grabbed on Kobe's jersey. I still say he lost that ball. Should have been a Lakers ball. There was some home cooking, and that's back when you could talk crazy in the media and the refs used home cooking. Pat Riley would do it, Phil Jackson would do it. That's what they used to do. Yeah, it was a classic, and it kind of for me, that's why Scottie Pippen never will get anything beyond past 35 as far as the all-time. He should have won that. That was a turning point. And yeah, but for Rasheed Wallace, it was a growing curve. He got better. The Lakers had some memorable ones, though. Let me get just that was definitely memorable. Mhm. Sure. Well, the poll has still been consistent. People say mediocre. That's what you heard? Is that actually true? He'd be a good coach for Caleb, actually. The USC connection would actually work. That'd be a good fit. Actually, that would be a good fit. I co-sign that. I could see it. That's what they're missing. I mean, they had an offensive minded coach. They probably would have probably right now be almost contending for a wild card. They're 4-12, so they could at least at the worst be 8-8. And I think they lost about 3 or 4 games because they couldn't finish stuff out. So I ain't got no problem with that. Not at all. That's a good look if he makes it happen. They got nothing else to do but try to get somebody who can swing the pendulum. All right, now please keep on. Yeah, of course he's gonna still get hate when you dominate like he does. What you expect? I mean, when you are making history, the guy walks and his walk in history is you watching. Think about it. Them people been where he's been. You know, I mean, if you're Peyton Manning, you're Aaron Rodgers, you're like this guy. hmm You're Ben Roethlisberger, you're like this guy. I mean, look at him. He's dominant. You know, changed the fortunes of Andy Reid. Andy Reid went from being a really good to a very good coach to a top tier coach. That's all you need to know. Fortunes are forever changed. Mm, So, all right, keep on coming through. Please hit them comments, keep hit that likes. See some people on board to come on in. I don't think he'll get in not right away. If he do, it'll be like in a few years. They're not gonna break their neck for him. He probably would have got a chance if he'd have not messed up that broadcasting gig because he was likable. So I think that's what's working against him. I think they will. I think they will. That don't well, they need a speedster. I think Saquon got a chance to, but if they don't sense that they're getting it out of him, they won't. But of course, he doesn't want to break it. But records are meant to be broken. When you keep add another game, they're gonna make records breakable. Tyreek to Washington. Eh, I don't think that's their problem, but I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have him. But I think it's the secondary. They just got to tighten up on some, you know. But he would be a good fit with Daniels. That would be nice. Yeah, cats are getting their feelings about records, but I'm gonna tell you, if you play long enough, records are meant to be broken. So, what you gonna do? That's what makes them special, especially if they got records that stand the test of time. That's not gonna be your problem. Like you scared of Tyreek Hill. Ain't nobody scared of Tyreek Hill. That's funny that you say that. There's nothing to be scared of. He came to the AFC East and was the Bills scared of him? No, we beat that butt all the time. So what I'm be scared of? Yeah, records, tend to be around. They changed the game to make it more offensive oriented. That's why some of these records get broken. They've done that on purpose. But if you live long enough, you'll see people passing records. I mean, nah, you ain't gotta worry about Tyreek. Because you don't know if Washington was a flash in the pan. I'll see what happens. I like Daniels a lot, but they gotta work on some, finishing up some games. But if he goes there, then they look pretty good. But I think he regretting leaving Kansas City now. I know he is. Now that one I don't see happening because Ricky, that was a different era. They don't run like that no more. So I don't see that happening. I see somebody probably passing Lou Brock maybe, but not breaking Ricky. Different era. Um, I'll give D Jack that. But over the middle, I'm taking Tyreek all day and twice on Tuesday. Because on a scat or like a rack, forget about it. He bust that middle, he gone. Tyreek can get you deep, but it's the ones over the middle where it's like his jacket, it's like he's just slick. D Jack, I might give him that, but Tyreek got him beat. Tyreek was a handful over the middle. I remember the 13-second game because he was a handful. Ain't nobody gonna pass Ricky. Not for that. Different era of baseball. So yeah. Okay. Please keep on hitting the like, hit the description. Keep on talking. See what we working with. Okay. Please keep on commenting. People got quiet again, so let's do it. Mm. Um, That's a good question. Who did I like in the 90s? I like Rudy T. I like Chuck Daly. I like Phil, Lenny Wilkins. Respected Jerry Sloan. Mm. Rick Alderman. Yeah, I liked him. Don Nelson was interesting. Hubie was tight. I like Hubie. Fratello, eh. I'm trying to think what else I like. My favorite quoted coach though was Rick Pitino. I still love that. Parrish, McHale, Bird, they're not coming through that door. That's still my favorite 90s phrase. That was my favorite 90s phrase. I was okay with Bob Hill. He didn't finish though. Wore good suits though, was clean. No, because what happens, the Vikings and Lions would have to lose their last two. But the Green Bay doesn't need that. They just need to get in the postseason. They don't need that. If they get up, I like Jeff. Stan, I like to hang out with, but Jeff moved me more. Jeff moved me more. He got a lot out of his team. Stan, to me, kind of underachieved with a lot to work with. You blew it with Shaq and D Wade, then you blew it with Dwight Howard. And then you got to coach Detroit. So, like, how many opportunities he gonna get? He sure did. Looking like Ron Jeremy. I used to call him Stan Van Jeremy. It's cracked me up. But I thought he was in the witness protection program when the Heat let him go because I didn't see that cat for a long time. Yeah, he just didn't finish up. That's all. So I don't really care about it. And the only thing about it is Drake is gonna do whatever Drake's gonna do. People don't really care. But this is something deeper though than what's going on though. I do believe that. For me, Dante Hall. Dante Hall was fun to watch. I like Brian Mitchell all round play because Brian Mitchell could do pump returns, all that. But Dante Hall was fun. Mitchell was giving you an all around game. But Hall was before Devin Hester, I like Dante Hall. I don't trip about it with Drake because Drake is trying to act like he's human. You know, nobody worth their salt and the sand wants to get disrespected the way Kendrick dissed him like that. But I just think it's a game that ain't gonna hold up for long. So I like Brian Mitchell a lot. Like he did a lot of things, but Dante Hall had some explosion. He used to make he used to make Kansas City games entertaining. He'd have been the perfect fit for them right now. Dawkins gave you more hits, but Woodson gave you with the speed. So it all depends on what you like. I like Ryde a lot, but Dawkins was a physical dude. They both could hit, but all depends on what you like. So I say Woodson. Yeah, he was. But again, the 49ers again, it was one of them situations that I thought he was good and it kind of came and they went. But he did have moments though. I definitely like Dante. I definitely liked it. Eddie George had more impact. Gore did put stats, and that's not something to sneeze at. But it's something about when you play with the 49ers, you're going to have a better quarterback, a better situation. Eddie George had to do a lot more. So I'm with you about Eddie. And it's a shame, too, because Frank Gore gets downplayed so much. He was a bust. He won two Heisman trophies in the NFL, but he came to Cincinnati and he wasn't memorable at all. He was. Sometimes it happened. And plus, NFL is a whole different level. Cats line up for you. They smell you on a Sunday, especially when you got two Heisman trophies bestowed to him. And you had far better players that never got that. So of course he was gonna get, you know, you know. He could run, he had some alright moments, but he wasn't the cat that, the hype. AP because he had better endurance. But Curtis Martin was a bad dude though. Curtis had wheels though. Curtis had could motor. It's just that AP was like just a little bit more. Curtis Martin is one of the most underrated. Yeah, Bradshaw just threw a lot of loops up there in the air. He wasn't even the best quarterback on the Steelers roster, but you know, availability is the best ability. So, you know, he came up. But yeah, that's what it was basically. I mean, when you look at his stats, you kind of tell he was a game manager. TD for me was more dangerous for what he did. It says something when you can come to a guy like John Elway and add something. I like Bettis a lot, but TD was that's why they were almost unbeatable. His presence was different. He sure did. Elway for me. Ben was very talented, but Elway was like what you get excited about Aaron Rodgers. That's what Elway was back in the day. Brett Favre had more impact. Kurt Warner had a great window, but he didn't have far reach though. You know, so I gotta give the fire on that one. Yeah, if you want to win, you got to have a game manager. If you don't mind taking chances, you want a gunslinger. So that's pretty much where it comes down to. If I want my team to win, I'm more of game manager because you have to be smart. But gunslinger, you're trying to thread so many needles and you hope that it works. But if you got two and three bad picks, then you know, I'm not gonna even dignify that mess. Just want y'all to get that one more loss so y'all can get that L. Yeah, Andrew Luck, a lot of them. Phillip Rivers, but a lot of 'em throw a lot of picks too. Brett Favre. That's the problem with cats are the gunslingers. This ain't the Wild Wild West. You're always trying to thread the needle, and sometimes you just take your team out of position. So I don't like that. Unless, of course, you can sling it deep, and then I can be impressed. Give me a 50-50 ball. He was. Different era, though. Different era. Troy Brown was like a punt returner, receiver. They had guys multi com they was kinda cheap, so they got guys for different dynamics. But the offense opened up because he could read progressions. He had a good understanding and some mobility enough to get stuff. He was insane. That's a great word to describe it. He played out his mind. And somebody like Randy Marsh, you I don't let you answer that. What about him in 2011? Mm, okay. Yeah, that's impressive stats. It's just that he lost 2 or 3 games that if he had 2 or 3 of those games back, he'd be MVP unanimous. That's what's gonna hurt him, I think. Someone on the Bills Mafia on Facebook said that they're gonna SI is naming Josh Allen Player of the Year. So take that what you want to take it. I don't know. I agree with Lamar's done. It's just that they got 2 losses. That if they had 2 wins more, I think it's a done deal. So, um, the first high powered offense I saw in my life, let's see, was the Bills K Gun. That was before the Rams. There were a lot of high flying offenses. The Oilers with Warren Moon, all that. I saw a lot of high flying offenses. It's just that it didn't win. The Rams, sold out the line. So that was impressive what you got to see. They would dominate today. So, but they were impressive though. Let's see what I got. Warren Moon. That's not even for discussion. Come on now, Warren Moon all day. And Moon, Drew Bledsoe was never on Warren Moon's level. Never. Not even close. Moon was he had more ability, more agility. All things being fair and equal. I mean, I ain't up for discussion. Bledsoe was a good player. Yeah, Moon for the W. They did, except for Doug Flutie wasn't a bum. I like Doug Flutie. Doug came along and played great. Marino, because of that quick release. But Moon, given a fair chance, could have hung with him. But Marino was bad though. With that quick release, you got to get him with that release. Even Howie Long said that that was the fastest release he ever saw. So I told you Marino, but I did like Moon a lot. And as long as you're asking questions, I will gladly respond. Mm. Whitlock. That's easy because Malika Andrews is just doing what the system says. Whitlock has shimmied and shook for 20, 30 years doing the same old routine. And he'll say anything to put down and to challenge. I like Greg better. Brian was kind of borderline. I respect his groundbreaking, but he was kind of borderline. He had a little shuffle in him for my taste, but he's had some moments where, you know, I always like Greg a little bit more. Oh yeah, Whitlock's gonna win that one. Most of them, I mean, Whitlock was straight dancing. She's just young and dumb and impressionable, and she has to say what they tell her to say. But Whitlock knows way better. He's been doing it so long, it's become second nature to him. Let's see. Okay. Um, that's a good question, Jay. Will I like this one? I'm going to start Don Nelson. I'm going to bench Rick Alderman, and then I'm going to cut George Carl because Alderman was in the finals, and he always could coach up teams, so he did the thing. That is a great question. Um, RG3 because of the fact that he's a black quarterback and he knows better. Tarico can sit around there and play all. No one takes Tarico as they look at RG3. RG3 got more to lose than the two. So anyway, that was a great question, Jay Will. I'm going in that order too. I would start Don Nelson, Rick Alderman would be my bench, and then George Carl get cut. Good question though. Keep them coming too, and please hit that like, subscribe. If you're out there, feel free to answer questions. I'm just waiting. See what we got. That was a good question, though. Keep them coming. Don't stop. That was a good question. Gotta say RG3. RG3. Stephen A. Because Stephen A. tries harder. Van Jones just cries harder. See how I did that? Stephen A. tries harder. Van just cries harder. No one cares what Van Jones thinks. They know he's bought and paid for. But Stephen A. is actually able to run a little bit of ESPN over to Fox, CNN. You know, his feet go everywhere. So it's bigger. At least when Van be crying on TV, you know what he's crying for. There's too many of them. That's too many of them. Pretty much everything he put out in the 70s. I mean, that's too many. I'm not trying to, and I'm not trying to get out of it, but as a ton, that guy's catalog is up there with anybody you want to put up there. I mean, I will listen to Talking Book, quite a few Luther songs. Most of his stuff in the 80s, though. Luther, so many great ones. But Steve Wonder, it's like crazy. Crazy. Good question. So let me think on that one. So, so Stevie, I would say living for the city. Uh, all I do, Tuesday Heartbreak, do I do that girl, Sir Duke, I wish. Luther House was not a home, never too much. Any love. There's nothing better than love. If the world were mine. Love his cover songs, the old school. Whitney, the greatest love of all. I always love you. How will I know? Mary J. Not gonna cry. Reminiscing. Be happy. see what we got. Is green black for y'all? Yes. You think Coach is a killer? His passing game was underrated. The bigger diva to me, it's gonna be T.O., but he was a better player. Ryman could pass the ball at the top of the key. I think it's been underrated. I think he could actually pass the ball at the top of the key. I'm very much aware. I'm just answering questions as they come in, so that way, when people got questions, I will be right front and center. Screen is black at times, but I'm very much in the mix. So as long as you can hear me, we're good to go. If you can hear me, give me a one. If you can hear me, give me a one. I am back. I'm just taking a minute, so when questions, I'll ask them. I don't know if I want to say De'Aaron Fox is a coach killer because he ain't really had a career yet. We got to see how it turns out. But they don't play no defense, so Rodman to me was the fact that he could pass that ball. He actually was a better ball handler than he gets credit for. He really knew how to pass the ball out of trouble. It was the top of the key. I seen him come with some big plays. Okay. Favorite Tupac song? Um, So Many Tears. Hail Mary. Brenda's Got a Baby. Better soundtrack? For me, of the Rim. But Space Jam had the better song. I Believe I Can Fly. Good question. Who had the better set of running backs? It's a great question. Um, I'm going to give it to the Oilers as far as running backs. If I talk about versatility, the Rams. For pure running back, the Oilers. Yeah, I just did answer. Did you get my answer? I feel that the Oilers had the better running backs, but I think the Rams had the better versatility out the backfield. There may be a delay with stuff, but anyway, I just answered the question. I think that Oilers had the better backs. If you can hear me, give me a one. If you didn't hear me, give me a two. I'm going with the Oilers, but I think the Rams had more versatility. That's a good question, though. Whoa, that's a good one. That was a real good question. Okay, just waiting and waiting, see if anybody come through. I just answered the question. So if you're on J Will, give me a one if you got my reaction. If you got my reaction, give me a one. All right. Thank you. I like that question though. It was tough though, because I had to think about the style. It's really a difference in style. Depends on what you like in terms of style. For me, if I'm going pure running back, it's the Oilers. But if I'm going like the dual back, it's the Rams. So it all depends on which we're going through. And you go. And I already answered the other question about um I don't really put Steven Jackson and Gurley in the same conversation with Derrick Henry. I think Eddie George was better. Derrick Henry was better. Marshall Falk and Dickerson for me. But Earl, Eddie George, Derrick Henry, they got the nod. They get the nod. Marv Levy, Holgram, Seaford, Jerry Glanville, mm, Bill Cowher. I respected. I respected. Yeah, I like Marty. I respected Parcells. 90s receivers. Obviously, Andre Reed, Michael Irvin, Jerry Rice, Andre Rison. He got too much hate because they didn't win. That's all. He was that guy who won a lot of games that didn't win. It's kind of like the Don Nelson syndrome. You get some guys, they win a lot, but they don't ever win. And that's where people hold them, you know, it's like you stat padding. That's unfortunate because it's a tough game to win. So, NFL ain't fair. So that's how it goes. I like Marty, but he couldn't win though. That's the sad part. All right. Marty would be great today's game though. I don't know about all that. He was good. I ain't gonna say you just hating. I don't care what he do. I understand why he didn't sign. I'm not even mad at him. The Yankees just aren't. Even as a Yankee fan, I understand why he didn't sign. I'm not caught up in yesteryear. This ain't 25 years ago. This ain't 20 years ago. Giancarlo and Judge don't show me enough. Aaron Boone don't show me enough. They got an old team. They really are missing some pieces. Uh, he went to a team that looks like they stacked. I understand. Good luck with that though. I ain't mad at him. But I wouldn't put him in the same sense with Albert though, because Albert was first class Hall of Famer. Soto got a little work to do, but I know what you're saying. I'm gonna say Lambert and Ham because of the steel curtain. That's the only reason. Buckets was a bad dude, and Singletary was bad too. But Lambert and Ham were like they were brutal with it. But it's close though. Pittsburgh just had what I call all stars of all stars. No, I ain't mad. I ain't mad. I didn't say I was giving him a pass. I said Soto. Did you hear me say anything about Aaron? Did you hear me say I gave Aaron a pass? No, because he sat up there and pulled an A-Rod and hit a token home run, and he wanted to get like I woke up in game 5. That's how the vibe I got for him. He fell asleep for 3 games, and then he realized, hey, the World Series is around. Oh yeah, baby, I need to go and do something. Meanwhile, Freddie Freeman was tacking and knocking everything in sight. and you woke up game 4, game 3. It's kinda like when Thurman Thomas forgot his helmet in the Super Bowl. Yeah. So, no, I'm not giving him Giancarlo neither. No, no. They looked incompetent. I can live with the Dodgers being the better team. I told you going in, the Dodgers were the best team that the Yankees ever faced in the World Series. I told you it was gonna be tough. But if you go there and you just all happy to be there, and you're like, "We're just happy to be here." Yeah, you're gonna get beat. And you got beat. And that's all you need when you got a stacked team. There's always that dude that you don't really that's got something to prove. That's all it takes. That's why Soto didn't leave, did why he left. You don't have that with the Yankees. Ain't nobody was scared after those two. Not like that. Dodgers could beat you in different ways. So he came up big. That's why I can't be mad because the Yankees were happy to be there. They played like a team that was happy to be there. I seen it before. I remember the Mets against Kansas City in 2016. They were happy to be there. They good, but nothing that strikes me like Chip. Who's a Chip player that they got? Not bad, but I'm not sitting around and going, "Ooh, that's a difference maker." They got to get guys who can get on the bases. They got to get some quality starts. They got to get their relief pitching, and they got to set a mark. That's what they got to do. I didn't really, I felt like it was kind of like some nice pieces. That's what you need. Cody Bellinger, if you get anything out of him, I'm going to right field the porch. But what Cody Bellinger were you going to get? 2019 is a long time ago. That dude is never coming back. And Max Friend is a good pitcher. That's him. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, now that they show they can go to World Series, are you gonna be happy? Or are you gonna go next level? So yeah, I mean, he might have something in him. He might have a Freddie Freeman type of situation in him. You never know, because people are writing him off. They're saying that 2013 is a long time ago. So 2023, I meant 2023. So people think he didn't peak. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. You know. But I'm not. I mean, the AL East is so deep. And I don't have no unrealistic expectations. I mean, they got to the World Series, but I wasn't blown away. I wasn't blown away. Yeah. But is he gonna be an upgrade over Soto? No. The Dodgers keep winning. I told you. People need to stop the Yankees buying everything. Dodgers buying the right things. They got the best player in the game. They got versatility. I mean, Dave Roberts sitting on the gold mine. If he plays his cards right, they'll win another ring or two. They got a chance to. I can admit when I see something that's better. I'm not gonna be one of those people that's gonna lie to you. I don't like to sit around lying. I'm not gonna say, "Oh yeah, we get," no, because I told you going into that World Series they weren't gonna beat the Dodgers. Sometimes you don't. Doesn't mean nothing because things have to fall in the line. You talking about when Kenny Rogers had the dookie on the glove? He ain't gonna deport. Well, this is gonna be interesting with if you read the poll question because Vivek and Ulon, he'll do that for low levels, but he's still gonna bring people in. It's not. It's it's gonna be a lot of hot air. They're gonna go after certain people, but they're gonna keep a certain amount of people in. Yeah, I still remember that. When they checked his, that was the first time they checked the glove like that too. I didn't know what that was. That was yeah, that was the emoji. I was cracking up. I think Trump is gonna talk some hot air, and some things are gonna stick, some won't. Some of it will, a lot of it won't. But if you fool around and mess up, you lose a lot of money. And he happens to have people that have connections that can get him more money. So he'd be stupid to really, besides talk a good game, what's he gonna do? I bet he is. I got a box of tissue for him too. I'm gonna go find it. Here you go, Tim Scott. It's a fresh roll for you, homie. Start crying. Well, not really. She might have a good pension. You never know. She might have a good pension. Probably is. Wouldn't be surprised, but you know. I know he I hope he wasn't that dumb to think Trump was gonna hook him up. I mean, you can't be that bird brain. He uses these turkeys at every chance he gets, and they fall for the okey doke every time. I don't think there's gonna be mass deportation. I think they're gonna run out certain folks because they need education, need money. Yep, everybody know about Lindsay. Mhm. But they don't talk about it. They don't talk about it, so it could look hard. Um, that's what the media throws at you, and there's some truth to that. However, it ain't like it just started because they brought some people over yesterday. Um, the reality is they've been gangs in Chicago. What about the 70s, 80s, 90s, 40s, 30s, 50s? Come on now. Quincy Jones had a cut on his hand from getting cut back when he left Chicago as a boy. That ain't nothing new. So if you watch Salone Bella, I watch her. She for a psychic. She was talking about it. She said he's going down. I already believe it. She's gonna get hit with some inroads. I definitely think she will be. That's why she's trying to get her daddy back and Destiny's Child back. Trying to get something out. I believe it. He a little too arrogant for his own good. He not dealing with chump weights. This is big money. I had to deal with some Jay Z fans trying to say, "Well, what I said, look, the judge said you can stay anonymous. I don't know if that doesn't signal the end or some problems coming. That's not a good look if you're Jay Z. The last thing you needed was someone to could stay incognito. So it's gonna be a long climb. I think they're definitely gonna come after him. They got a way of coming at him though. He gonna be got anyway because you can't sit there. They're standing behind him to me because of Kaepernick. They can't come across like they racist, so they have to act like because they brought him in as a trade-off. That's to me the reason. I mean, of course, there's also well, LeBron. They all part of the same conglomerate, but I think it's because the Kaepernick thing. See, that's why LeBron is fake because you can't take a knee with Cap and then turn around and get behind Jay Z. That's Cap right there. I call it Cap, unintended. That's Cap. The NFL cannot get off because they still know they got racism. They still got that lawsuit by Brian Flores. You know about the Brian Flores lawsuit with the Miami Dolphins? That's a real lawsuit that's still going. They all got dirt. They all got dirt. He still wants to play, but he'll never get that back. We already know. I don't have a problem with him still wanting to play, but they'll never let that happen. They all got dirt on them. You know, I might not have been the biggest David Stern fan, but I know he was a lawyer, and I know how they do things. Same thing with Adam Silver. They keep a lot of stuff out that if you mess up, you see what's happening with Diddy? When they done with you, they can hit you with a two-piece, three-piece, 12 bucket. Don't move. I'll be right back. Yeah, he's talking a lot too. Hold up. He's talking a lot. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I had to make a quick stop. Yeah. Um, Denzel been doing a lot of talking lately, so yeah. I thought Denzel had something else he was going to talk about. His ministry. I don't know what Denzel up to. There's some friction with him and John David, a little bit. They all got dirt on them, though. If you can hear me, give me a one. I am back. They all got, they all got something on them. They all got something on them. There is no job security because you don't get treated like that. I mean, what would give you to think that they care about you? I mean, Billy Donovan still gets to do what he wants. Your thoughts on Bow Wow said call B Weezy. That's what he wants to go by now? Is that what he wants to be known as? If this was 20 years ago, we might care. No one's talking about it. No, there's no job security for black coaches. No. Joe Mazzulla didn't want to ring with Boston. They got the best record, they got the best team, and he gets treated like you wouldn't know him from your local produce man. I'm like, Joe Mazzulla won a ring. Udoka doesn't get any mention at all. Houston just winning games. So no, there is no. Mm-mm. Yeah, he got Arrested Development, and no one is taking Bowie, whatever he is. No one's taking him serious. He been a clown most of his career. You know, look, I always give him love for roll bounce. I'll give him that. You know, I like a couple things he did, but I don't pay Bow Wow no mind. He just was a mediocre talent. So when you look around the NBA, how many black coaches do you have? And ask yourself, how come Doc Rivers still keeps a job? Okay, we'll give you that. But Tibbs has had as many jobs as some of these other guys. He ain't won nothing. He killed off careers. What's up, Dry Turkey? I think it's because of the food and the culture. It's promoted as such. That's a good question. The food is promoted as such. Lots of sugar, lots of smoking, lots of drinking. Doc does enough to keep a job, but that don't mean they won't let him go. I hope that answers your question, Dry Turkey. It's the catering. They don't cater a lot of tofu and vegetarian and vegan in the hood. So you have to take that upon yourself to eat better. In another era, that would have been something classic. In another era, just bring Rick Fox there. Jackie was something else. She didn't trust him. And that's Doug Christie. I didn't look at Doug Christie like he was a chick magnet, but that was crazy. She was on guard. But you know how them groupies are. Them 304s beat the game. So I remember all that like yesterday. Yeah, but you know, when you look around the league, how many black head coaches you got? Phoenix got a Budenholzer gonna keep getting the job. He been fired from Atlanta, got fired from Milwaukee, now he's with Phoenix. So that's 3 gigs in, what, 10 years, think about it. Well, it ain't hard to get seats at the Sacramento Kings game, Ted. I mean, they are the Sacramento Kings. Ain't nobody break their neck to get there. The Maloof era is gone. It's not hard to get front row seats to watch mediocrity. I'm just saying, they fun, but not a hard ticket. Um, but anyway, Carl, yeah, think about the coaches in the NBA. I mean, think about it. Look at the Timberwolves. You look about Magoof, yep. I mean, it's lack of coaching. So that's what's up. And they don't get no recognition. Joe Mazzulla anywhere else would get recognized for what he's done with Boston. He's that good of a coach, but they're not getting no love. Why is what? Why is what? Tell me what your question is and I'll answer. I'll answer it the best way I know how. They got a really good team. The NBA doesn't want the coaches out there. They want what they got. It's a lot of politics. Politics. Cavs are a nice team. Now the question is, can they get past the second round? That's all I gotta say. They gonna win the first round. They don't want them. They don't want them. I don't want nobody to keep telling me about how the league is a players' league. Has there ever been an African American coach that won a Laker as a ring for his Lakers head coach? No. For the Bulls? No. Golden State year with Al Atlas. Seattle year. Cleveland year. Toronto, no. Detroit, no. You see where I'm going with this? Milwaukee, no. You look around and what you see is what it is. History speaks for itself. They don't want that. I don't know what that means. So I've been doing pretty good so far. We ain't had no trolls, but that's what's up. So if they wanted them. Nah, I'm not gonna touch that. That's kind of like petty. I just got through saying and giving him his dap for saving the eviction notice. They looking for any story to diss Jordan. I think if you should have that opportunity if you can afford it. I think if they want you to have that opportunity, they'll give it to you. No, you should be able to, especially if you were the face of the team. I thought Jordan should have had ownership of the Bulls, real ownership. How about those Bears? They stink. And he got picked to put the coach. He got to own a team in Charlotte. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement. I would love to see guys have an opportunity to own a team. Yeah, well, a lot of it's because they have no offense. They got weapons. Guys don't know how to put it together. You can't have a guy like Keenan Allen and you can't win. That's embarrassing. You got any questions, Canelo High Guard, or you just gonna be trolling? Because I don't even understand what this is about. I just see it, cards and basic stuff, not really something that I really spend a lot of time, acknowledging. I acknowledge people all year long. So, but the Bears, you know, no, just a lot. Been a little bit on the weather and a lot of stuff going on, but I'm okay though. I'm okay. I'll be okay. Fat Albert in the gang. Popeye, but Scooby Doo always. The Jetsons, which I thought life would be like today. Hanna Barbera, because I used to love all the Olympics. They'll make a comeback before that. You'll see what happens with Vivek and Elon and how Trump will implode. That it's gonna be short lived for Trump. They're gonna do something dumb, and then they'll take over the seat again. All it does is play musical chairs. People think they're getting something, and they get hoodwinked. You'll see. But I'm tired of all the parties, though. I treat them all like Diddy parties. They'll probably try Kamala again, but she needs a personality. They need somebody that they didn't see coming in it. So, you know, but it won't make no difference. But I do believe a woman will make a stride, though. I think that'll be on the cards. Yeah, I like Hillary a little bit more. Yeah. No, you need something completely different from Obama. They were half-hearted with Kamala. It was half-hearted. I think they'll come up with something though, and they will have plenty of time to get it right. Because you'll see what happens. One thing that I see happening is imploding. So I'll definitely see some. Yeah, he shuffleboards. He kind of had no choice in one way because he was the first one on the line. But then it's the way that he went out of his way. I think it's because she tried to do everything but just be genuine. And I think that was the problem. You think because you got some good hair and you can step a little bit and you can get to the club and party, that's all it takes. And the bottom line is she wasn't about no issues. She couldn't speak on nothing. She was actually everything that Trump, if he had no half the idea what he was really doing, she represents it. Because she locks up. She has some kind of authority. She just doesn't have no personality. That's what knocks her. That's her knock. You know. She could do the job, but she just doesn't connect with folks. I don't think her heart was in it though. Not like that. The people that think they do too much, say too much, act up too much, and you got to check them, but you got to give them a cue with your face, or you're gonna give them a cue with your fist. You know what I'm talking about. You give them that look, and then you're like, and them turkeys still be acting all reckless, talking about, you know. Well, I know why they threw her in there because that was the best chance she probably was going to get. They wanted to see what the country was like. But the problem was is that they still racist and they're not that progressive. And she got caught with not really having an agenda. She should still beat him though. I think she still should have won. I don't think she really did. Not like that totality. But she made logical sense because he looked old and broke down. He didn't stand a chance against Trump. He's gonna get ate up. Even though he should win on GP alone, general principle. Because I don't know how, the elephant in the room is how someone breaks the laws and do what they want to do. I don't know. I don't know. I think there will be because they're knocking on the door now. You've had two in the last 10 years. Yeah, they do. They're blaming on the alcohol. Always got some lame excuse. But if you black and you say something to offend somebody, they'll come up in your face. I know. I don't like that mess either. Yeah, I think there will be. I do. That's a cop out. Men are emotional. Men are the ones who want to start a war. So I don't buy that. Okay, I'm probably gonna. If you can't hear me, I'm probably gonna have to go. If you can't hear me, if you can't hear me, give me a one. If you can hear me, give me a two. Yeah, it's always blame the alcohol or the booze. It's because I get like a 2 hour nonstop. Can you hear me? Okay. That means I'm probably gonna have to go soon. Okay. I'll probably give it 2 more minutes, then I'm gonna go. I was on here for 2 hours. It always does this. If you can't hear me, okay, can nobody hear me? Okay. I'm gonna close it down in about a minute. Can't hear me? Is it no? Still no? Yeah. They give me like a couple of hours. I'll probably have to. I'll give it like 2 minutes. If you can't hear me, when you can hear me, give me a one. Very low volume. Okay. Let's see what time I got. Okay. If you still can't hear me, let me know. I'll probably have to cut it. I'll probably try to come back tomorrow. I'll definitely do one more before the new year is done. So I never know how these things are gonna go. So if you can't, give me a one if you can. If you can't, give me a two. One if you can hear me, two if you can't. Is it getting any better? Okay. All right. Okay. Still very low volume. Okay. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Okay. I think I'll call it a day. Appreciate everybody coming through. And thanks for the likes and everything. Thanks for everything that came through today. I will try to come back tomorrow. I'll definitely be back one more time before the new year. So it always happens if I do a couple hours. Anyway, appreciate everybody coming through. And I will put this in my on the podcast where you can see it, whatever you missed. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free, stay true. I'm on one time. Peace.